recently I was having this conversation with someone who works for IU in a capacity that they have no involvement in this game day operations, whatever. They're younger, they're newer, but they did tell me that, yeah, they've heard those conversations being had. And what I'm talking about is game day experience. To me, the game day experience at both IU basketball and IU football is, well, let's say it leaves a lot to be desired. I think the game day experience at IU basketball is tired. It is the same thing they have been doing since I was in college and further back probably. You know, in the pregame, when the pregame warm-up is going on and the team's out there, they're playing music over the system. Music that's kind of getting you pumped up, getting the players pumped up. And every time they're halfway into a song, the damn band strikes up to play some stupid-ass thing from 1960 that the old donors are used to hearing. Stop with that crap. It's time to freshen it up, man. You've got to look to bringing in the next wave of fans. The football, it definitely got to do something but besides winning cures a lot, but you've got to do something. You've got to the game day experience at IU is just not that great in my personal opinion. And this person that I was talking to, who was a younger person working at IU, came from a different school and another Big Ten school. And I'm like, and she's like, yeah, it's very stiff. It's very, of course it is. It's always been that way. IU has always been stiff. Before it was under Bob Knight, but he was winning, so it didn't matter. But now they're still catering, and I hate to say this, but to a very elderly fan base for a bigger part, maybe of like the seats. They brag about Indiana basketball having the largest student section in college sports. They're definitely far from the most impactful student section, and I'm not blaming that on the students. They're up in that corner of Assembly Hall that goes all the way up to the top, 46 rows up, and then maybe in the balcony as well. You're not putting them to use by doing that. So it doesn't matter, and then it gives them less incentive. Those seats suck. They're terrible.
You know what I like about, I think Ohio State, Michigan State does this. I don't even think Purdue does this to an extent. Yeah, they have them down lower, but I would like to see like a lot of those lower level seats. And I know they do this for donors and decades long season ticket holders, but that lower, like those kids only get 4 years to go to these games. Let them have the lower rung, or at least do some sort of class system where, seniors, maybe seniors and juniors and seniors get those lower level seats and do that kind of all the way around the arena. You look at the iZone. I don't know if that's on both sides or if it's just one side. I've only been to one game at the Breslin Center, and it was a Christmas break game, so I didn't get the full experience. But when you have those students right on top of you, I mean, look at Cameron Indoor Stadium. There's a reason it's one of the – it's not a big arena, but there's a reason it's one of the hardest to win in, and it's not just because Duke's good every year. It's because those students are right on top of you. They're ruthless. So I've sat in those balcony seats. Those are terrible. I've sat as far up and as far to the left, and I couldn't even watch the game on the Jumbotron, to be quite honest with you. So I just think that if you were to put the students down in those lower levels, first of all, in my opinion, I understand people donate a lot of money. You could still dedicate a certain section or certain sections throughout the arena to those, but these kids only get 4 years to watch basketball, football games live. Let them get that opportunity, and then it creates more of a home court advantage for you.
I agree exactly. I think that the end zones definitely should be students, number one, next to the band, and then on the other end, definitely got to have students in there, and that same level around in a circle. Yeah. Exactly. Juniors and seniors, if there's enough to fill that area, that's who gets those seats. Right.
And you could probably limit it to just one side even, and then have your donors on the other side.
Maybe.
But then at least you'd have 3/4 of it be students in that lower lap. That would be better than what it is with them up in the balcony, as far up as a balcony.
Agree. Yeah. I agree. I mean, you talked about Cameron. Cameron only holds 9,000 people.
Yep.
Indiana has a 7,000 student section of 7,000. But let me tell you, it is not even close to having the impact that the students at Cameron do.
Right.
Because they're allowed, first of all, I think they go for free, or if it may not be free, but it's first come, first serve, because when I've been there for the games against Indiana, they have to line up. First of all, that's how Krzyzewskiville started. They start camping out for every game because it's first in line, yada, 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 first come, first serve. And then they come in, and you've got that first row of media seats. And I talked about this when we played them a couple of years ago. The students are literally behind the very first row of the media, where the media sits, and they will literally, if they're wearing paint on them, you will leave with paint on you, because they lean over, they lean between you. It's part of the Duke experience when you go there. If you're in the media, you're going to get it. But that's kind of great. That makes it a very, very difficult place to play. Assembly Hall used to be a very, very difficult place to play because of the noise, because it was packed. They've lost that. Of course, winning changes that, of course. But I still think the students, man, it looks better on TV. It's a much more difficult. You think it's difficult to play in Assembly Hall the way it has been? When you put the students around like that and you create that noise, it's over, because it gets really loud, and teenagers are loud.
Well, and that's all part of the experience too, right? Like that's what separates college basketball, and for this matter, college football, from the NBA and the NFL. You don't have that same sort of experience. You don't have 18 to 22-year-olds painting themselves up and enjoying a few, whether they're underage or of age, beverages before the game and getting rowdy and amped up and everything. It's just part of that experience. And I don't understand why certain places don't. Again, I know it's about donors and money, and that's what ultimately drives the decisions being made. But when you only have 4 years to do this, sometimes, maybe 5 years, at least have some sort of class system where you get the juniors and seniors down there, and and maybe you put the freshmen and sophomores up at a higher or different part of the arena. I don't know what the answer is, but you can. If Michigan State, Ohio State have figured this thing out, I'm sure there's other schools that I'm leaving out. You can find a way to do it. It doesn't, throw tradition to the side. You might have some angry, upset fans, but at the same time, if those kids, what's going to happen is if those students have a good experience going to those games, they're going to be more likely in the future to then donate. That's how you build up your fan base. That's how you build up that sort of stuff, and eventually leads to more donors. But no. I don't make those decisions. They don't pay me to make any of those decisions. I just write about it and talk about it.